Hey, this is Rich. Welcome back. I just finished week 54 on Wegovy. I took this week's shot just a few minutes ago. Now, as you may remember from last week, I increased my dosage last week to 1.7. So I stayed at 0.25 for a long time and then stalled about Thanksgiving time last year, 6 months ago or better. And ever since, I've been increasing and just kind of stalled on my weight loss. I've gone to 1.7, and we'll see how that goes. I've had a whole week now. I think I've noticed some differences. I certainly feel fuller all the time. So whatever Wegovy does, whatever these semaglutide drugs do for slowing down your digestive system, I think that's clearly in effect. So I feel like I have just eaten, even though I haven't. And when I do eat, I feel fuller faster. So hopefully that will have some positive impact over time here. We'll see. I'll tell you how I did at the end of this video for this past week. I wanted to talk a little bit about weight loss and plateauing. So it's kind of a common thing. I've been doing a lot of looking online and a lot of Googling. And I've noticed that there's a lot of comments about plateauing and a lot of things to buy, drugs to buy, pills to buy to help blow past that plateau. I'm not doing that. I think that's probably not the best thing to do. And if I would do something like that, I would do that in concert with my doctor. But right now, I'm just looking at it, and a lot of things I think make sense to me, right? So some of the reasons for the plateauing is your metabolic system is adapting to what's going on and saying, "Oh, I get it now. You're going to give me less food, and we're going to just slow everything down so that you don't you don't lose as much weight, and then we're going to conserve a little bit." So that makes sense. I think I've said in the past that I think my fat cells are really mighty strong about trying to hang on to their fat position. So I have no doubt that metabolic rate has something to do with it. Another thing is lost muscle mass, and I think over the past year, I can't guarantee I'm right, but I feel like I've lost muscle mass. I feel weaker in the last year. I feel like I don't have as much strength just going up and down stairs. I know that in the past I had trouble going up and down stairs because I was 80 pounds heavier, but still I didn't feel like I had lost muscle mass. But I do now. I do when I try to go upstairs or I try to carry something that I used to be able to, a 40-pound bag of something, dog food or salt or whatever it is. I used to be able to do that no problem, and now I can't. And so I'm going to have to try to rebuild that. So we'll see. But I really do feel like I have lost some muscle mass. The third thing is diet creep. So I definitely have had that where I have really tried to stick to a pretty healthy diet, not a severe one, not one that uses a lot of fake foods and a lot of fat-free stuff and sugar-free stuff. I generally just try to eat better stuff and eat less of my superfoods, the M&Ms, the potato chips, the chocolate covered pretzels. If just stopping that had a big impact on my life. And not that I don't eat that once in a while. I do, but I don't eat it as regularly. I mean, it was a routine before. So I really try to make that special occasions, or I only do it when I'm at, say, a relative's house and I'll have a couple, 3 or 6 root beer barrels, those little hard candies. So I try not to do it at my house, although I once in a while I'll break down and buy that stuff too. The sweets that I go for now are more fruit related. So like I just bought seedless watermelon. We're heading into the 4th of July. Need to have watermelon. So I got watermelon last week, which had no taste whatsoever. So I'm very hopeful that this one will. It may just be a little bit early in the year. So I got off track. Let's go back to reasons for plateauing. on the another reason is physical activity. Now I've said in I don't know how many videos that I'm going to start exercising. I've started exercising, then I quickly stop. I actually have an opportunity to buy a recumbent bike, or get one that's free to me because of some gift card that I got, and I'm debating. I'm debating whether I just want to get it. I'm trying to figure out whether it will hold my coat or what kind of clothes it holds, because obviously that's what these exercise equipment pieces are for, is just hanging up your clothes and your coats and putting stuff on top of them. I until I can get past that, I don't think I'm going to get a recumbent bike, but maybe I will in the future. Another thing is just underlying health issues. So you can have underlying health issues that may require you to, may cause you to gain weight or not lose as much weight. It could be interacting with the drug. It could just be causing you to do less exercise. I don't have that, but that's obviously one of them. And then the last thing is just lifestyle. Are you getting enough sleep? Are you having stress? I would say I'm on the bad end of both of those. I have a lot of stress just from work, and I have not been getting a lot of sleep because of that. Um, at anyone's who's in the workforce today knows what I'm talking about when you're worried about how things are going, how you're doing at your job, how you're doing at protecting people that work with you. And you take a lot of responsibility in that, and you're really trying to make sure that you're providing a good environment for everybody. And sometimes there's a lot of stress involved in that. So I will I I just have experienced that. So and then the obvious the solutions are pretty obvious. Watch your diet, get more exercise, get better sleep, talk to your doctor. Okay, I've done all that, and the result is they've encouraged me to exercise, but knowing that they can only push so hard. And they've also been talking about increasing the dosages, which we've done periodically now. So I'm at 1.7 in Wegovy. But it's all part of a journey, right? And I think the big thing that I took away from a lot of the articles was, don't give up. Just keep going, keep plowing forward. Good things will happen eventually if you just keep doing it and do the right things. And when I say don't give up, I don't mean don't stop taking. I don't mean stop taking the drug. I'm saying don't give up in trying to eat right, in trying to exercise, and trying to get good sleep. That's the advice, that when they say don't give up, that's what they're saying don't give up on. So I'm following that the best I can. I'm doing the best I can. I think I said last week that the farmers market was open, and I was going. I went again this week. I plan to go every single week, and I plan to buy something different at the farmers market every time I go. This week I got a head of cabbage that is like half the size of me. Oh my gosh, it's huge, and I'm going to have to figure out a couple different things to make with it, but it just looks so good. And I got beets, and if you've never gotten beets from in a produce form, not a canned form, I've had canned beets all my life, and it's like, they are awful. And then I went to the farmer's market one day, and I was talking to the guy, and I was saying, I'm looking for something a little different. And he said, well, get that. I said, I don't know what that is. He says, those are beets. I said, those aren't beets. They look like onions that are a little, purplish and stuff like that. And he says, try it. So I tried a raw beet, and I just couldn't believe that's what raw beets tasted like. I didn't know what beets tasted like, but I knew I didn't like them until I had a raw one from a farmer's market. And even from the grocery store, it tastes okay, but from the farmer's market, they are phenomenal. So I strongly recommend you do that. So every week I'm going to try to come back and get something a little different. Maybe I'll tell you about it. Maybe I won't, depending on how unique it is. Anyhow, enough about weight loss plateauing. Let's get on to the fun stuff. Why is the beach wet? And you probably want to bring your 5-year-old in the room and ask this question, because you won't know what it is. But ask your 5-year-old, why is the beach wet? Because the seaweed. Yep. It's only a 5-year-old would like that joke. 5-year-old and me, apparently. The seaweed. I don't. And if you don't get it, break the two words apart. Break seaweed apart. It's two words. So, okay. And all right. Even worse. Okay. Get the 3-year-old in the room now, because this is the 3-year-old joke. What happens when cows get too much sun? What happens when cows get too much sun? They produce evaporated milk. Yep. Even the 5-year-old's crowing at that one. The 3-year-old's loving it, but the 5-year-old's going, oh, come on. Oh. All right, enough of that. How did I do this week? This week, I increased my dosage to 1.7 Wegovy. I can go up to 2.4. There's one more increment that I can do, but this is actually considered within the maximum dose. So the whole week, I felt fuller. I felt less hungry. I'm hoping this is not just a 1 week event, and next week I come back crying and say, oh, I just feel hungry again. But I hope that it's the same, but I felt really good this week. I lost 2 more pounds. I'm down 87 pounds. Hopefully I'm on the right track. I'll keep going. I'll see you next week.